Ever wonder why some kids grow up feeling secure while others seem to carry a lifetime of emotional baggage? It's not just about parenting styles, it's about the culture surrounding those kids. In this dive, we're going to unravel how different societies approach attachment and parenting. Spoiler alert, it's a lot more than just a mother's love. Let's kick things off by breaking down the difference between communal and individualistic societies. In individualistic cultures, you know the ones, think the US or Western Europe. There's a heavy emphasis on self-reliance and personal achievement. Kids are taught to stand on their own 2 feet from a young age. Ever heard someone say, "You can't rely on anyone but yourself"? That's the mantra. It's all about personal success. And while that can build some fierce independence, it might also leave kids feeling isolated and less emotionally secure. Now, let's flip the script. Communal societies, like many found in Africa, Asia, and some indigenous cultures, have a different playbook. Here, the focus is on the group, the family, the community. Child rearing isn't just a parental duty, it's a collective effort. Picture this. A child doesn't just have mom and dad. They've got a whole village of caregivers, a network of support that watches over them. This communal approach fosters a sense of belonging and emotional security. Kids in these environments often develop stronger social bonds and feel more connected to those around them. But wait, let's dig deeper. Why does this matter? Well, studies show that children raised in communal settings tend to have better emotional outcomes. For instance, a child raised in a collectivist culture is more likely to develop a secure attachment style. They know they can rely on their caregivers, not just their parents, but a broader circle. This builds trust and encourages them to explore the world confidently. In contrast, children from individualistic cultures might struggle with attachment. Without that safety net, they can develop anxious or avoidant attachment styles. Ever seen a kid who can't handle it when their parent leaves the room? Yeah, that's often rooted in those early experiences of perceived neglect or lack of consistent support. Let's talk numbers. A longitudinal study tracking children from different backgrounds found that those in communal societies exhibited fewer behavioral problems as they grew older. More than half of them reported feeling secure in their relationships, compared to just a third from individualistic backgrounds. That's a useful difference. But it raises an interesting question. How does this play out when these kids become adults? Here's where it gets real. Adults from communal cultures often maintain strong connections with family and friends throughout their lives. They're more likely to prioritize relationships over career advancement. On the flip side, adults from individualistic cultures might find themselves feeling lonely, even if they've achieved great things professionally. It's a double-edged sword. The drive for independence can lead to isolation. Now, let's break down how these cultural differences manifest in parenting styles. In communal societies, you'll find a more nurturing approach. Kids are often encouraged to express their feelings and lean on their peers. They learn to share, collaborate, and communicate openly. Imagine a playground where every child is included, where sharing toys is the norm, and where the idea of "it takes a village" is practiced daily. This isn't just play, it's foundational for emotional intelligence. In contrast, individualistic societies often adopt a more authoritative or even permissive parenting style. Kids might be encouraged to voice their opinions, but they're also pushed to excel and compete. The focus can be so much on achievement that emotional needs take a back seat. There's a pressure to succeed that can be overwhelming. As a result, kids may grow up thinking that vulnerability is a weakness. But it's not just about parenting styles, it's also about the systemic issues at play. In many individualistic societies, economic pressures can lead to families relying on external childcare, often limiting the emotional support kids receive. Think about it. When both parents are working long hours, who's nurturing those emotional needs? In communal settings, the network of caregivers helps fill those gaps. It's a system that inherently understands the importance of emotional support. Let's not forget the role of education. In communal cultures, education often emphasizes cooperation and social skills. Kids learn to work together, support each other, and develop empathy. They're not just cramming for tests, they're building relationships. In contrast, education in individualistic societies can be fiercely competitive. It's about grades, rankings, and standing out. This competitive environment can stifle emotional growth, making it harder for kids to form useful connections. Now, here's a mind-boggling statistic. Research shows that neglect can cause more damage than direct abuse. Let that sink in. When kids lack emotional support, when their cries go unanswered, they can face severe long-term consequences. This is where the communal approach truly shines. With a network of caregivers, kids are less likely to experience that kind of neglect. So, what about the long-term effects? Children raised in communal settings often carry those benefits into adulthood. They're more likely to develop secure attachments, have healthier relationships, and prioritize community. They also tend to have a stronger sense of identity and belonging. This sense of community can act as a buffer against stress and mental health issues. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Communal societies can also face challenges, especially when modernity encroaches. The pressures of urban life, globalization, and economic challenges can strain those close-knit structures. Families may find themselves isolated, leading to a breakdown of that supportive network. In those cases, the benefits of communal child rearing can diminish, and children might face the same struggles as those in individualistic cultures. Let's bring this full circle. The way we parent, the way we attach, and the way we develop is deeply influenced by the cultural context we're in. It's not just about love and affection, it's about the relationships and systems surrounding us. The data highlights that emotional security is not just a byproduct of good parenting, it's a community endeavor. So, what can we take away from all of this? If you're a parent, think about how your community influences your child's development. Are you fostering connections, creating a support network? And if you're in a more individualistic culture, consider the impact that can have on emotional security. Before we wrap this up, I want to throw a little insight your way. In the end, it's not just about parenting styles or cultural norms. It's about recognizing the importance of community and shaping who we are. If you think about it, we're all products of our environments. I know, this all sounds a bit heavy, but it's important. The emotional scars of neglect or lack of support don't just fade away. They shape our relationships, our identities, and our mental health. So next time you hear a child crying in a public space, remember, it might not just be about that moment. It's part of a larger picture. Before we finish, let's circle back to those communal societies. They understand something important about human nature. We thrive when we're connected. They prioritize relationships, emotional support, and community over competition. And maybe that's something we can all learn from. If you're interested in diving deeper into this topic, consider looking into your own parenting style. Reflect on how your upbringing has shaped your relationships today. Are there aspects you can change or improve? It might just make all the difference. In the end, it's about building those connections, fostering emotional security, and supporting the next generation. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, whether we realize it or not.